Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Point Firearms, and in this video I'm back to bring you another short video on the short series or the mini series on the Glock. And in this video I'm going to show you how to change out your factory sights on your Glock without using a sight tool that is about 350 bucks or a press. Alright, so we're actually just going to be using a Nylon Tipped Punch and a hammer, ball peen hammer. Alright, we're going to be changing out our factory sights here with the True Glow Bright sights. You can pick these up on Brownells for about 60 bucks. Alright, they're really nice sights. They're the red-green sights. You can see here the front sight, it's got the red, and then the rear sight is the green. So when they're easier to line up, it's easier to acquire your sight. So that's what we're going to be switching out with, and I'm going to show you how. So stay tuned and let's get started. Alright guys, so you're going to need a vise for this. More than likely it's going to be pretty impossible for you to do this without a vise. Now some vices are rippled edges on the front. You definitely don't want to put your Glock slide in your vise with those rippled edges, all right? Because you'll cut right in to the finish on the slide. So what I've done on my vise here, you can actually pick up some aluminum stuff like this. It's just a piece of aluminum corner. This is, I think, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. You can pick up like a 4-foot section of this at most hardware stores for pretty cheap. What I've done is I've just cut 2 sections of it to stick in here, and what that's going to do is it's going to make a little bit softer place for my slide to set, so that I don't cut into the side of the slide with the ripples on the back of the vise here. And then I've just put a piece of 3M painter's tape over the top, and then taped it to the top of the vise as well, just to make it a little bit more easier to manage, and it'll keep any of the color of the aluminum for rubbing off onto the slide itself. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is go ahead and put our slide in our vise. Just like that. You don't have to torque it down too tight, but torque it down tight enough that it's not going to move around on you. Okay? And now our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove our sight. We're going to knock our rear sight out of the slide, and it's as simple as just putting your punch on there and giving it a little tap. Just like that. Alright, so we've removed our rear sight now, and it's got some sticky stuff that comes with the factory. It's like a kind of like a thread locker or whatever they put on there, and that just keeps it from just sliding out on its own. Alright, our new sight that's going to go in, we have a dovetail right here on the back. That's what this cut is called, and the back is a dovetail. We have a dovetail on our new sight. You can see the dovetail there. Alright, now in most cases it's not going to fit perfectly in place. Alright, and you also have a set screw in the top of this sight as well, so be sure and back that set screw out, and most of the time your sight will come with an Allen key, so that you can take that screw out. And I recommend taking it all the way out while we're seating it. Alright, now before we seat this one, I want to go ahead and clean up that stickiness that's in there right now. So the best way to do that is just use a cotton swab like a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. Alright, now it's time to go ahead and test fit our sight. So we want to just start and go the opposite way that you took it out. Alright, so I'm pushing right now just with my hands without a punch. And you can feel that it's a little tight. So you want to go ahead and tap on it. But don't force it in. Alright, and you'll be able to feel when it goes as far as it'll go. It just feels different. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and pop this back out. And what we need to do now is we need to shave a little bit off of our dovetail. So what I'm going to use is a needle file. And this is the triangle needle file here. So I've got a triangle needle file, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Alright, so just be sure and don't go overboard or you'll ruin your new sight. But what you want to do is just lay that file in that dovetail. Alright, and we're just going to remove just a couple of passes. Alright, and you can see that it's already started taking off the metal there. So not much. And then we'll flip it over and do the dovetail on our back side. Just a few passes. And then we'll lay our sight back in here. Still a little tight. So what we'll do is just continue that process until we get a good feeling on that. Ideally, what you want is you want that dovetail to slide about a little over halfway. Right now we're not going quite halfway. You want to be able for that dovetail to slide in there to about the halfway mark before you have to start using your hammer and your punch to set it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and file it a little bit more, and I'll just keep playing with it until I can get it to go about halfway without the hammer. Alright, so I've got my sight where I want it. And what you're going to want to do is use some Loctite. I've got my slide filed to where I want it. And so I've set it and then knocked it back out. And so I'm going to be using some Loctite. Now, some people will use red Loctite, some people use blue Loctite, just depends. I like to use blue Loctite just because it makes life a little bit easier if you have to take the sight off. And the blue Loctite is going to do just fine for what you need it for. Alright, so what I'm going to do is use a pair of tweezers here, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of the Loctite on my tweezers. And I'm going to set it right in the dovetail here. It doesn't take a whole lot. Alright, then we'll start my sight in. Now the trick is to get your sight lined up in the center. So what you can do to check your sight is to use a caliper. So I'm going to take my set screw that I have here, and I'm going to dab my Loctite on my set screw. And I'm going to, not going to drop it. Now you don't have to torque this set screw down. You just want to snug it up. And then we want to wipe that Loctite off. Alright, so installing our rear sight is as easy as that. Just be patient on your fitting and you'll get that installed. Alright, now we're going to move on to the front sight. Now on some Glocks, your front sight will be pressed and crimped in like this one. Let me see if I can get some light in here on it. I think you can see it right in there. Let's see if I can show you. Right there on the tip of my punch. This one is crimped in. Alright, it's not screwed in, it's just crimped in. So all we have to do is just knock it out. Okay? It's just a little factory crimp that's in there. We're just going to knock that out. Alright? So the first thing, we're going to go ahead and lock our slide back into our vise. We're going to use a punch. Smaller punch than that. And we're just going to knock our front sight right out. Sometimes it's harder than what you would think it would be. Alright, and you can see on this slide where that front sight was, they had that same glue on there, okay, to keep it from twisting around and stuff. So now what we're going to do is once again use our alcohol and clean that up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and seat our frame back in here, or our slide back into our vise. And now with our new front sight, we actually have our front sight here has a screw base on it. Alright, so using a 3/16 nut driver, we can loosen that out of there. Alright, so now what we want to do is the same process as before. We use our tweezers, get a little bit of our thread locker, and dab it on the bottom of our new front sight here. Alright, and we'll just go ahead and set that. Takes a little bit of finesse. You may even have to use a hammer just to make sure that it's seated. Just be sure to use a non-marring hammer just to make sure that it's seated. Alright, and we'll go ahead and loosen it up here. And we'll check our sight alignment. It looks pretty good. It looks square. So you just kind of have to do that by eye. Just hold it out, look at it, make sure it looks square. This one does look good and square. Alright, and so then we'll turn it over. We'll take our screw. We'll put a little bit of thread locker on it. Loctite. Now, the only thing with using this nut driver is it's so deep that it's going to be hard to get this thing started. So I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers, really small needle nose pliers. And try to get this thing started. Actually, better yet, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use a magnet. Okay, so once you get your screw started on your sight, just be sure that you started it good, alright, nice and straight. And use your nut driver. Go ahead and secure the nut on there. Alright guys, so once you get your set screw in on your front sight, then using your 3/16, and what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and wipe it down to make sure that you got any of that thread locker or Loctite off of there. Alright, and this will take a little while to set up. It won't take a long time. Just go ahead and double check your sight alignment when you get done. Double check your sight alignment, make sure that it looks good. And this one does. So then we'll just wait for it to dry before we reassemble it. Alright guys, so changing out the sights on your Glock from the factory sights to the new red, green True Glow sights, very easy to do. Don't let them fool you and tell you that you can't do it unless you've got that $350 sight tool. Now, does the sight tool make things easier? Of course it does. It makes things a lot easier. But if you don't have $350 to drop on it and you can't pay a gunsmith to do it, then with a few simple tools and the sights, you can do it yourself in your own home. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Like I said, check out the other videos on the Glock in my short little Glock mini-series. And learn how to do the 25-cent trigger job. Learn the truth about the 25-cent trigger job. And I'm not going to tell you on this one because I need you to go watch the other one. So anyway, see how to do that. Check out how to do a drop-in trigger job. And also check out some easy, affordable upgrades to make your Glock run smoother. I've got 5 simple upgrades that you can do to make your Glock a lot smoother, and it's a lot cheaper, less than 50 bucks. Alright, so anyway guys, check out those videos. Until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.